We have a couple of shout outs. Here we go. Dawn Burns. Dawn, thank you for watching. Darlene Richer, Sherry Goodell, Sydney Calhoun, Annette Pulley, Alana North, Todd Jansen. Hey, my neighbor was named Todd Jensen growing up. I think this is different, but if both Todds, hello to you. Rhonda Higgins, Delia Harper Ward, and Angela Sakota. Good to see you. And we have people watching from all over the world. It's amazing. If you haven't told me where you're watching from, please put it in the comments because I love to go back and see these. I have a little bit of a cough, but I'm feeling much better tonight. Niagara Falls. Beautiful. Thank you for watching. Spain, Scotland, Victoria, Australia, Lakeside, San Diego. Is that near Legoland? I think it is. We love Legoland. Love San Diego. Charleston, South Carolina. Hello to you. Beautiful place. Ryrie, just down the street from Idaho Falls, where I'm at. North Dakota, Rathdrum, Idaho, Sunset, Louisiana, and Michigan. So many amazing places, and so thankful and grateful that you all support me and East Idaho News. Okay, here we go. Questions. Chris asks, will the jury be sequestered? Nope, there's been no talk of that. It is possible, when they get the case, when they actually start deliberating, that they might be sequestered. They were in Chad Daybell's case. Remember, they had to stay at a hotel. They were taken by buses back and forth to the hotel. I don't think that'll happen in this case. They were not in Lori's case. And I would imagine the judge would have brought that up during questioning that, are you going to have an issue to be sequestered? What'll be fascinating is how long will they take? I mean, if they get this case, there's one charge, conspiracy to commit murder. It's not like they have to talk about 7 different charges. There's one. Will they take an hour? Will they take a day? Will they take a week? We'll see. But no, they will not be sequestered. They'll be able to go back and forth to home. K, can my 14 and 15-year-old children come to court, and can I come with my wheelchair as I have a broken leg? You can come with your wheelchair. There's an elevator that gets you up to the 5th floor. Might be a little challenging finagling around, but it's going to be fine. I have not heard anything about children. However, on the courtroom directly across from where this trial is happening, there is a sign on the door that says nobody under 18 allowed. So I would imagine your teenagers will be fine. I know one day in Chad Daybell's case, someone came with a younger child, maybe 10 or 11, and they stayed for like an hour and left. And I don't know if they left on their own accord or if the deputy suggested they leave because of the evidence and whatnot. But yeah, your teenagers should be fine and you should be able to come. If you make it, come say hi. Can Chad and Lori communicate? They cannot. Their inmates aren't allowed to. Well, the rules say inmates are not allowed to communicate with each other. Chad's on death row. She's here. All of the mail is read. All of the calls are listened to. In fact, that was an issue that Lori raised the other day about her phone calls with her appellate attorney in Idaho, that he's listening to these calls and, he's the prosecution's listening to these calls and whatnot. But yeah, they're not supposed to communicate. By the way, on that issue, it was resolved. Basically, we didn't talk about this the other day, but what it was Lori was complaining that the prosecutor had confidential, privileged communication between her and her attorney, which would be an issue if the prosecutor has privileged communication. But what the prosecutor had and disclosed immediately to the defense, she said, is that when her appellate attorney called in to Lori, it was on the normal line. The line, like if I were to call Lori or you were to call her, they give you a notice. This call is being recorded and may be listened to. And so the communication, he was trying to set up the confidential line. He was trying to work through the bugs to set up a confidential communication system. And according to the judge, the only communication that Trina K got was this kind of, hey, I'm working to set it up. This, like, nothing really there. Just, working on getting the line set up or whatever. So that's what that issue was about the other day. Missy asks if Chad's books are still selling and does he get the money? I don't believe so. In fact, I'm going to Google right now. They are for sale on Amazon. It looks like $9.99 for Chasing Paradise. $7.99 for The Great Gathering, Standing in Holy Places, Book 1. It has 265 reviews. It looks like they're all from like 2010, not all of them, but most of the reviews. I'm going to try to filter these by the most recent. Anyway, yes, his books are still for sale. I would imagine, um, oddly enough, that, okay. Somebody wrote in 2020, never would have bought this had I known Chad Daybell is involved in a major crime case, including the bodies of his new wife's 2 dead children found on his property. Yikes. So anyway, yeah, they're still for sale. You can buy them. I'm not sure where the money goes. They wouldn't go to him. It's possible that it goes to his family. If he's got this Amazon account, it's possible that there's some bank account that it goes into. I don't think it's making thousands and thousands of dollars. Idaho has a law, the Slayer law. You're not allowed to profit off of your crimes. And so he can't be making money off of his crimes if he were to write a new book right now. Not saying that people come up with ways to get around that. Like he writes a book, but it's really done, this is just an idea, through a family member who's not in jail, and they license photographs to go on whatever. I mean, there are ways that people try to get away with it. Okay, are you going home every weekend? Joanne says. I'm not, but I'm home this weekend. I'm going home this weekend unexpectedly. Got a flight out, so I'll be with my family this weekend. I'll still be doing Courtroom Insiders. You'll notice the background will be a little different. But yeah, I'll be home this weekend, and then I'll go home for Easter. And maybe a few other weekends. We'll see. I honestly naively thought that, oh, the trial will be over by next week. Maybe it will. I don't know. I don't think it'll be done in 4 days, but you never know. So I guess we'll just kind of see how it takes. I don't mind being in Arizona. I do miss my family. It's beautiful here, though. Everybody's so nice. Everybody's great. Delia asks, are you sitting on hard benches in court? No, I'm not. Nobody is. The benches are amazing. They're padded, and they're chairs. They're like, I don't want to say theater style seat, but you know, the kind that flip up and then you sit on them, so that you have a back cushion and you have a butt cushion, and they're so nice. And there's Wi-Fi in the courthouse. It's a big courtroom. So yeah, and a diner, like a cafe diner in the basement or in the first floor. I haven't tried it yet, but people have told me it's pretty good. So yeah. Sherry asks, Nate, why did you communicate with Lori? Why give her attention? And is she trying to manipulate you in those conversations? Well, she might be trying to manipulate me. I don't know. It's not giving her attention. I'm a reporter, and my job is to talk to people and see what they have to say. And, you know, it's kind of like the issue that Dateline faced. She went into that interview with Keith for an hour and pontificated for an hour about her life after death experience, and on and on and on. That's what she wanted to get out there, and they didn't put it out there. So they didn't give the attention, but it still is newsworthy. Now, if I were to put on Lori Vallow every day, is that newsworthy? Probably not. It wouldn't be, unless she's saying newsworthy stuff, if she confesses or whatever. I'm curious also about who she is. Now, mind you, we communicated before Dateline, before we started to hear from her. We were communicating when really the only things the public had heard was when she spoke at her sentencing. So it was new-ish to me, like, about who this woman really is and what she has to say. So I guess you could say it's giving her attention, but I don't think she manipulated me. My thoughts of her have changed a bit, but I'm not, going to invite her over for dinner. I don't think she could come if I did. Do you follow the Gypsy Rose case? I watched a show or two about it. Not really. I don't have much more to say. I don't know. Did she go to CrimeCon? There was talk about her going to CrimeCon. Maybe I'm confused with somebody else. Well, I'm curious to know your thoughts. I'm also not really following Karen Reed, and that one has blown up lately. And I'm curious if you're watching the Karen Reed trial. It's funny because last year, Karen Reed was the same time as Daybell, and this year it's the same time as well. And then the other one coming up is Corey Richins in Utah, the mom that wrote the book after her husband died about death, but yet she's being charged with killing him, poisoning him. So that's an interesting trial. Sandy, do you know if any of the jurors from the other cases will be there? Actually, yeah, Tom Evans has been coming. with his wife, and he plans to be there. I think this month. I think he plans to be there for the duration. So yeah, he's there. I don't know about any of the other jurors. I have not heard. Justice. How old are the men? What about the women? It's a variety of age ranges. There were some young men, and I'll be able to give you a better idea on Monday because everything was happening so quick. This judge moves fast. I'll get a better idea on Monday as far as their age groups and whatnot, and you can, I'll fill you in on that. And then old from I would say 20s ish till senior citizens. One of the women is a senior citizen, or at least older, probably upper 50s, maybe 60s. And one of the young women who was released was young. I say young woman because she was young. She was probably in her 20s or 30s. She's the one that had seen some coverage. Bluebell, do the jurors realize she's the defendant? She's the defendant. I don't know if they did, but she told them. And in fact, the judge told them too. The judge said, in this case, Miss Daybell, how it worked was they all introduced themselves. The judge said, I'm Justin Bareski. My court staff are so-and-so, 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 so-and-so. Prosecution, please introduce yourself. Lori Daybell, please introduce yourself. And then Lori stood up and started to say, my name's Lori Daybell. I'm defending myself in these charges. Then she started to say, I'm 51. And the judge stopped her and said, hold up. This is a time for questioning, not a time to talk. And so they do know now that she is the defendant. Did you witness jury selection? I did, every second of it, Brianna, and it moved quick. It normally jury selection is kind of tedious and slow, but Monday we had that hearing in the afternoon, which was wow, and then Tuesday we had a jury. So yeah, can you FOIA Lori's jailhouse calls and share them with us? I tried to do that in Idaho, but they are protected. They are not open to the public. And I believe I need to check in on Arizona and see if those are public record. The exceptions are if they're admitted into trial and they become evidence, then we can get them. Otherwise, with Idaho, I'd love to have all of the Idaho ones ready to go and see what is happening and share those with you. So yeah, that's what we've got there. Barley, did the prosecution have free kicks for no reason to get rid of some jurors, as I do not like 13 men and 3 women, and it could ultimately be all men if there were 3 women alternates? That is a good point. If the lottery system ends up that the 4 numbers they pick to be removed are all women, you could have an all-male jury. I don't know. The judge did not explain publicly how many strikes each side got for without cause. So there's the strikes for cause, meaning they have a hardship, they can't make it to court every day, they have somebody who's sick, they can't miss their job, whatever. One of them was pregnant, so she was released and due in June. So there's those strikes. And then in Idaho, at least, we knew the judge announced how many strikes each side got without cause. You could just say, I don't like that person. They said that they're a gun owner. I don't want that. Strike them. I would imagine that there may have been some of those, but I don't know. If there was, it was done while they were on the headphones in the sidebar, and we don't know. The judge didn't explain it to us. But good question. That would be interesting. That would be interesting, too, if it was an all-male jury, which would be, fascinating. So many of you have written and been like, oh, she's going to charm them. She's going to woo them. She's going to this. She's going to that. People are able to see authenticity. People are able to see truth. And, Trina K is a very experienced attorney. She told me the other day, she thinks she's been doing this 30 years. It would be also interesting if Lori's legal team, if she let them do the questioning. I'd love to hear from them. We don't hear from them anymore. And also, I think if they were doing the case, they would need more time. I don't think this trial would be happening right now. And then when this one's over, we have another one for Brandon, which is going to start end of May, jury selection, very end of May, and then go into June. So we'll be back here again. Okay, I think those are it for the questions. I know you have so many more, so please keep giving them. What I want you to do is if you have a question for Rachel Smith, the special prosecutor, she's going to be here on Friday, and it's going to be a Q&A back and forth. All the questions will come from you. So please submit them if you have questions about the jury system, about prosecuting a crime, a homicide, a death penalty case, about Lori Vallow's case, whatever you have in Idaho. Please share it with me, because we'd love to pass it along and let her know. And then tomorrow we'll be here, still working on the guest. Hope to have a guest here, but we will be here for another edition of Courtroom Insider, likely from my basement, because I'm going to be home. So yeah, thank you all very much for watching. Here is where you can follow me. I am on Facebook, Twitter, X, Insta, and YouTube, and many of you are on our the Eaton's YouTube channel. Thank you for that. That's where we post my daughter's interviews and some other fun family stuff that aren't so full of crime. But we also do Courtroom Insider on there too. All right, everybody, have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock Mountain Time for another edition of Courtroom Insider.